Well, hello there. It's time we cover the dreadful Caitlyn lane. This is one of my permaban matchups. I really dislike playing into Caitlyn since the matchup is just so volatile. There's so much that can go on. You can really fight to the death level 1, but if you don't win control from the lane level 1, it's gonna get so difficult to play into. She's gonna shove waves into you. We're gonna have a bunch of damage under tower. It's a nightmare. However, today we're going to tackle how some of the pros do it and how they play their lanes, and then we're going to find a little bit of a more intermediate, relatable example and take it from there. Here we have Yunara Lulu into Caitlyn Elise in solo queue, played by Pace. He ranks Cleanse because it helps with the Elise stun, therefore being able to play the game level 1. We should have better extended trades due to lethal tempo, as well as Lulu shields, whereas Elise and Caitlyn will have a lot better burst trades. Let's see how this lane plays out. So here the Caitlyn Elise lanes both have control of the bushes, which is why we couldn't enter at all, and we don't want to fight level 1 without a wave. We want to stack our Q first on a wave or on these champions a little bit better with some more control. And look at how aggressive this gets. We get the early barrier from Caitlyn, and we stack a little bit on the wave. Look, we're already 4 stacks of Q. We dodge the Elise E, and now we're trying to push so we can get level 2 here with the Lulu. We get level 2. Oh, it's a big fight. They're committing on the Lulu. And this is something that you really like to see as an ADC, right? You know, you're going to say, well, usually they just commit to me. And you'd probably be right. But here, they just commit to the support. And this is why you usually want to commit to the ADC instead. Because now, well, Yunara didn't get the kill, right? But she is in a much better wave condition than Caitlyn, who is going to lose a bunch of XP. And this is why the Yunara isn't just shoving the wave. He's just letting the wave be a little bit here, trying to allow some of her own minions to die, and try to make the wave a little bit smaller for Caitlyn. Of course, you know, still a big wave, but, you know, you try your best to make them lose some stuff. It's all you can do. This time around, we have Ruler playing Yunara with a Janna, again, into Caitlyn Elise. So it seems like it's a good pairing that they like in Korea. In this case, he stays under his own tower and doesn't move up because the Janna is still in base, right? She didn't move at all. She was just late coming back into the game. And the Yunara doesn't even ward the bush. Why? Because the Elise could bring a sweeper, which she actually did. And if they drop that ward level 1, then the Elise could immediately sweep it for free without any kind of counter playing, right? We wouldn't be able to auto the Elise for trying to sweep our warrior. We just completely freeze. That's something cool that you can see that higher elo supports can do. In this case, we also still win the extended trades, and that's what we should look for. And look at the bush cheeses from the Caitlyn Elise side. So that's something you can expect. And look at Ruler very aggressively hitting the wave here, so you can get Q stacks on Yunara. This is a very common theme that you'll see across all Yunara gameplay from pro players. They just like hitting the wave a lot, get their Q stacks, and then they want to find the window to go for an auto Q trade. So that may happen now due to this one minion. They probably may fight over it. You go insta cleanse on the Elise stun, and this wave is this is completely madness. Look at the Janna positioning, by the way. She plays it so aggressively, and now the Yunara is on lethal tempo with the second Q, flashes in and gets the Elise a double kill. So you can see how hard you can play into Caitlyn level 1, right? Because these lanes, you know, Caitlyn Elise, absolute terrifying, and you have an enchanter on your side. Now the thing is, will your enchanter and support solo queue play this well? Maybe, probably not, let's be honest, right? But it's the concept that stays with you, which is level 1 you can kind of fight. But what happens if we just can't fight level 1? Alright, so here we have Yunara Blitzcrank into Caitlyn Seraphine. Not quite Elise, you know, different champs for a while. And in this case, we also have a melee support into the Seraphine. So what we should see is that Caitlyn has a big range advantage, and Seraphine poke is also going to matter a lot. These players will also play around Blitzcrank Q a lot better. They'll also get prio, they'll be able to have bigger waves, and therefore Blitz Hook will be more difficult to execute. So let's see how the Yunara plays the matchup in this situation. So Yunara instantly autoing the wave, doesn't just concede prio for free. Why? Because we want those Q stacks. It's always something very common, again, that you can see in this gameplay pattern. Seraphine Qs the whole caster wave, try to getting some poke as well on the Yunara at the same time. Alright, and they just have priority for level 2. This wave we never touch at all. So level 1, you can hit it. Level 2, you know, if the prio is just cooked, it's just cooked. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. Even with the enemy even with our jungler pathing bot. But you can see our Lilia just pathing bot, right? Given she's top side. Anyway, just focus on last hitting well. Here, the Blitzcrank is a complete MVP with the way he uses abilities here, making sure we can get the last hits as Yunara. You know, the wave naturally wants to push into them. I feel like a lot of Caitlyn Seraphines would just like auto try to push this a lot. But if that happens, it's a small wave. You don't really get a whole lot going for them, like from that side. Big hook, and now we can fight. So when was the angle where we could fight? I think that's a bit interesting to see. So here the Caitlyn Seraphine will just push the two waves, right? And now this is the third push, the third wave, right? And it meets closer to our side because it's bouncing, right? And in this wave, we can start to play a little bit more. The minions are at the same count, so like Blitzcrank can actually just walk up and try to get a hook at this timer. It's quite good. And as Yunara, you can also just step forward a little bit more. This is an okay time to play. It's not my preferred time because you can really get poked out in this situation. But it's one angle where you can try to look for a little bit of a play as well. So for example, if your support wants to play aggressively, you can follow them. If they don't want to play aggressively, you don't have to follow them. What's the worst case scenario? They'll just start hitting this wave and shove you the whole cannon wave. Big deal. You can farm the melees first, then get the cannon with your support stack, whatever, get your casters. You know, it's all good. Even the casters, you can, you know, they'll be kind of difficult to farm. You sort yourself out. But they're not delivering like stacked waves where they can dive or do that much damage. You can still kind of like dodge your way through, and it's not that bad as in like, you know, 2-wave crash roll, that big wave. That can be a lot more difficult. But yeah, so here we got both the Seraphine Sums. We're pretty happy. We also have our Lilia bot side, which is good, which means we can probably crash this wave in, which may be what we're interested in. Let's see how Yunara plays this. Yunara just still hitting the wave, uses Q, gets it in, and gets a nice recall timer here. This is a nice controlled way of playing the game on how to handle this disadvantage of playing into a Caitlyn Seraphine lane, or this disadvantage of playing into this range lane. Now here it's 3 minutes. Yunara did want to base, but she cancelled it because there was a bit of a bot side river fight going on with the enemies in Jaw fighting for crap. You know, pryos and all of that crazy stuff people talk about these days. Not too committed. Try to get the recall, and you can get yourself into a somewhat decent situation going into the game. So that was a lot of early laning phase, but what happens after your first recall? So in this case, we're in somewhat of an even situation. Perhaps even actually advantage now, because we have our Cole boots from base, and the Caitlyn hasn't bought anything. She's still out on the map, despite being full mana. And here we're at our mercy of the quality of our support, right? We got the flash heal from Seraphine earlier, and now we're able to play the game and fight the Caitlyn, and we're gonna kill her as well, I assume, here. I think Yunara just doubled forward like that because she wanted to predict the Caitlyn, where she'd go. Yeah. Like if she flashed back, but she gave absolutely no chance, gets the kill to Blitzcrank, but that's no big deal. So what does this mean? When you're playing into Caitlyn lanes, you want to play on this like little freeze bouncing timer. This is when you can play, because it's when you're gonna have a whole lane worth of space to actually fight these guys. If otherwise, it's going to be very difficult if you're trying to like out-push the Caitlyn or something like that. That's never going to be the goal. The goal is to deliver stack waves under their tower, get your recall, and then you fight when you're full HP with an item lead because they haven't recalled yet, because they have to catch your wave, right? So how do you do that? They'll crash like deficient waves into our tower. Therefore, we're going to be able to slow push stack our waves. And if they just like keep pushing in their own tower, they'll be overextended to our junglers ganking, and things will be fine. I hope this gives you some confidence in this lane, and best of luck playing into Caitlyn. I'll see if this also helps my own gameplay into Caitlyn as well, and you know, any updates, maybe I drop something in the comments. Feel free to do that as well. Enjoy the video, leave a like and subscribe, really helps out the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye!